Tulsi Devi Priyaya Kesavasacha Vishnupati Pradadevi Satchavatai
Vrindayai Tulsi Devi Priyaya Kesavasacha Vishnupati Devi Satchavatai Vrindayai Tulsi Devi Priyaya Kesavasacha Vishnupati Pradadevi Satchavatai Vrindayai Tulsi Devi Priyaya Kesavasya Vishnu Bhakti Prati Devi Sattvaja Namo Namaha Vrindayai Tulsi Devi Priyaya Kesavasya Vishnu Bhakti Prati Devi Sattvaja Namo Namaha Tulsi Maharani. Now then is on our respectful obeisances to all the mighty of the Lord. Just like desire we fulfill the desires of everyone that are full of compassion to respond to this world. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your offering here. You can give it back. She can put it away. All right. Hare Krishna and Merry Christmas. And happy, what? And happy Hanukkah. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Nandana Rajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Nandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parikacharya Satarasada Shri Srimana's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinda Ki Jai Jai Radha Krishna Gopa Gopanath Shai Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Gaurana Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mai Purnavdeep Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 58. This is text number 22. The chapter is Krishna marries 5 brides. Kalinditi Samakyata Vasami Yamuna Jale Nirmite Bhavane Pitra Yavad Achyuta Darshanam Kalinditi Samakyata Vasami Yamuna Jale Nirmite bhavane pitra yavad achuta darshanam kalinditi samakyata vasami yamuna jale nirmite bhavane pitra yavad achuta darshanam kalindati samakyata vasami yamuna jale nirmite bhavane patra yavad achuta darshanam kalindati samakyata vasami yamuna jale nirmite bhavane pitra yavad achuta darshanam kalindati samadyatam vasami yamuna jale nirmite nanane pitra yavad achuta darshanam. Anyone else? Kalinditi samakyata vasami yamuna jale nirmite bhavane pitra yavad achuta darshanam kalinditi samakyata vasami yamuna jale nirmite bhavane pitra yavad achuta darshanam kalindi iti thus samakyata named vasami I am living yamuna jale in the water of the Yamuna nirmite built bhavane in a mansion pitra by my father yavat until achuta of Lord Krishna darshanam the seeing. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada's disciples. I am known as Kalindi, and I live in a mansion my father built for me within the water of the Yamuna. There I will stay until I meet Lord Achyuta. Please repeat. I am known as Kalindi, and I live in a mansion my father built for me within the water of the Yamuna. There I will stay until I meet Lord Achyuta. Purport. Since Kalindi was a beloved child of the sun god himself, who would dare disturb her? From this incident, we can appreciate the beautiful spiritual processes executed in previous ages by great souls. Unlike the so-called love in worldly, quote, love affairs, unquote, beautiful Kalindi's love for Lord Krishna was pure and perfect. Even though Kalindi was a tender young girl, her determination to marry Krishna was so strong that she arranged for her father to build her a house in the Yamuna where she could perform severe austerities until the day her beloved came. And we'll read the tikas of the acharyas now. They're not so long. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, I am well known as Kalindi. Who does not know me, the daughter of the sun god? By this statement, she indicates her high status. My father built me a house in the river. I am greatly favored by my father. Who has the power to go against me? Better watch out, Arjuna. Jiva Goswami writes, she then answers the questions. Kalindi means Yamuna. I am known as Kalindi and live in the water filled with my energy. And then Arjuna says, you are living in the water means that you travel around everywhere like a fish. I live in a house built by my father, the sun god, by some special powers. The sun is inconceivably able to move everywhere by his desire. Out of affection, he made the best house for me. But I am not bewildered by this luxury. I will stay here until I am accepted by Krishna, who never fails to keep his promise, Achyuta. On seeing him and being accepted, my austerities will bear fruit. Simply staying and performing austerities is not my goal. Sanatana Goswami writes, she then answers the questions. Kalindi means she is the figurative daughter of Kalinda mountain, since the Yamuna river arises from that mountain. This is my name, Samakyata. Other names like Krishna are secondary. Why do you live in the water? I live there in a palace built by my father. This answers the question, Kurta, where? Since my father is the best of the Devatas, he could build the house in water. Thus, it was excellent, built out of affection. In that place, I am not bewildered. The goal of my austerities is to see the Lord, who does not deviate from his promise, Achyuta. Na me bhakta pranashyati. I declare that my devotee will not be vanquished. That's verse 31 from the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Om Agyanatimirandasya Ganan Ganan Shalakaya Chakshu Unmiditangena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swabadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Vadaya Krishna Pastai Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminitaramani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Bacharani Nirasesa Sunyavadi Baschacha Deshcharni Vanchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyebacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So today people pray for peace on earth and goodwill toward men, which is a nice sentiment, but there's never peace and there's very little goodwill. Maybe goodwill for my tribe or my family, but not for others. And this is the way of the material world and the material prayers of those who are trapped here, even if they even pray at all, because, of course, Christmas has been transformed from an actual religious holiday where people took stock of their relationship with God, at least for one day, maybe 2 days if you count Easter, and would remember the appearance of the Lord's mercy upon them, according to their scriptures. Jesus is someone who takes the sins of those who follow him sincerely. And, of course, that is the position of the guru. The guru is taking the sins of the disciple who seriously follows his instructions and allows the disciple to have some understanding of the real nature of life, which is ultimately to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Well, they don't get that far, really. They want to have salvation, or they want to have some sort of heavenly enjoyment at the end of this life. But that even has been swept away by a gross materialistic adventure in sense gratification, where everybody buys as much as they can, joins together in large family gatherings where each person is trying to, look a little better than the other. And in this way, actually we find that sometimes the holiday season is a time of stress and distress and depression and feelings that aren't very good. So we're way off the mark here in this material world and getting farther and farther. And so when we take shelter of these wonderful verses from the Bhagavatam, we can actually get some peace, because we hear and see in the Bhagavatam the story of those loving devotees who are so attached to Krishna that they're willing to go through great difficulties to reach him. After all, now, Kalindi, she is the daughter of the sun god, also known as Yamuna. Her brother is Yamaraj. He has a different role to play in the whole scheme of things. But here she is, and she's performing great austerities in the Yamuna in order to obtain the loving relationship with Krishna. Of course, she has it forever. But this pastime is sort of like there's these, how is Krishna born to a family when he is the Lord forever? And it's because within the eternity of Krishna's existence and our existence in the spiritual world, he also comes into the timeline of this world and then exhibits different types of activities. And so here she is exhibiting, she's engaging in austerity to get Krishna as her husband, which of course he is her eternal husband anyway. But for us to see how these austerities are being performed for the love of Krishna, and also it's exemplary here that Arjuna is asking these questions, and like in the Bhagavad Gita, he's also taking the role of someone who doesn't know very much. How are you living? The first question people are going to ask, you're in a palace in the Yamuna, how are you living? I mean, how is that possible? You're not a fish. But she says, no, because my father is all powerful. He's made me this wonderful palace within the Yamuna where I can do anything I want because I'm the daughter of the sun god, and the sun god is all powerful. And I choose to do austerities here in a great palace. I'm not attached to the palace, and I'm not attached to the austerities because this is not dry yoga. This is bhakti. I have love for Krishna, and these austerities are an outgrowth of that love. I'm not performing austerities to get something. I'm performing austerities within bhakti. It's like the 6 Goswamis. They weren't sitting under trees every night. The story of the Buddha. He went under the Bodhi tree and sat there for a period of time. I think it was 40 days, or maybe I can't remember. But Jesus was tempted for 40 days. There's all these different stories, and they kind of have similarities. But the point being is that he sat under a tree to attain enlightenment. 6 Goswamis were not sitting under trees to attain anything like enlightenment. They were sitting under the trees because they were enlightened in Krishna consciousness, and they had no material attachments, and they had no connection with bodily sensations. They couldn't care less about so many things. They could eat once in a while. They could sleep a little bit because they were completely enwrapped in their relationship with Krishna. So in the same way, Kalindi's completely enwrapped, whether she's with Krishna or not, in a relationship with Krishna. This is something we don't have. Now, we know this is something we would like to have. Why? Because we've been shown this by Prabhupada and by our Gurudev and by the scriptures, and we can see a little window in here. Wow, this is amazing. This is amazing. How do we actually go from, oh, I'm looking through the window, into at least cracking the door open so we can start entering into that world? Because only by entering into the world of Krishna are we actually going to be happy. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he prays. It's interesting. How does he pray? He says, "O Lord, I'm not performing bhajan so that you will remove the worldly misery that is strangling me. I am not praying at your lotus feet for entrance into the heavenly garden of Nanda Kanana, where one can enjoy with beautiful women for a very long time. Nor am I praying for liberation so that I will never again have to suffer for 9 months in the womb of a mother and never again be punished by the messengers of Yamaraj." Those are the three things he's not praying for. He's not praying for miseries to be withdrawn, heavenly pleasures, or rebirth. Not praying to get out of that. And that's above what people are praying for today. Health, new car, nice wife, whatever, something like that. That's even lower. What is he praying for? "I pray that in the core of my heart you will increase the bhav of Vrindavan, where you are roaming with the gopis and enjoying amorous pastimes. In meditation on the descriptions of these pastimes, I will at once become completely lost in prema. This is what I am praying for. I am praying that I may take birth as a gopa or a gopi, or even as a peacock or a tree or anything anywhere within the 64 square mile Braja Mandala. There I will acquire the company of a Rasika devotee who, being full of the bhava of Vrindavan, will describe all these pastimes to me, and my life will be meaningful." Our life is meaningful if we can begin to increase the bhav, some bhava, or emotional attachment to Krishna. Now, that bhava is not coming really on our own. It is only coming from those who have it, like Prabhupada has that. And like the Bhagavatam, we read prayers where personalities have that emotional connection. We're seeing here an emotional connection to Krishna, Kalindi. And we're seeing how that emotional connection to Krishna is everything. So within this material world, we have emotional connections to what Prabhupada called fallible soldiers: wife, family, home, country. And those emotions then sometimes are very good and sometimes really upsetting. Prabhupada gives the example. I was reading a little bit about the difference between love affairs in Goloka Vrindavan and love affairs in the material world. And Prabhupada states, it's in the purport to one of the first verses of the first canto, 113, I think, where he says that in the material world, love affairs often or oftentimes end in ghastly murder scenes, so that the love flips into some kind of a horror. Now there may be, bhavs of horror and disgust and things in the spiritual world, not in Madhurya. But there may be the emotions that are very strong, but they're never horrible in the sense of disastrously disturbing and cruel, and the things that happen in the material world. Then Prabhupada actually writes, he speaks about what Radha Krishna love is. He's speaking on the Bhagavad, on the Nectar of Devotion, in these famous Nectar of Devotion series that he gave at Radha Damodar Temple. Rupa Raganata Pade Haibe Akuti. Unless one becomes very, very much eager to follow the path of Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, he cannot understand what is the love affairs of Radha and Krishna. Now, this isn't Radha-Krishna love affair here. It's a bit removed. But still, it's prem. Krishna prem in the spiritual world. Without following the principles of Rupa Goswami, if one wants to understand what is Radha and Krishna, then he shall understand ordinary boys and girls' affairs. And that's what sometimes people think. That is not Radha Krishna. Therefore the Shastra, it is said, Ata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grayam indrayai. Do not try to understand Radha and Krishna with these blunt eyes and senses. Try to understand through the instructions of Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, etc. And then Prabhupada, he refers to this verse, which is quoted in the Madhya Lila, which comes from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grayam indrayai sevan mukhi jivadao swayam eva sparat yada. That's verse 234 of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion. And what does that verse say? Therefore, material senses cannot appreciate Krishna's holy name, form, qualities, and pastimes. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and taste the remnants of the Lord's food, the tongue is purified, and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. So, unless one becomes purified, to some extent, we can't appreciate Krishna through our material senses. And therefore, we have to purify our tongue by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and taking prasadam. It's fortunate that it's that simple, and because if a person chants the holy name and takes prasadam, that's the beginning of spiritual life. To that end, today we're going to have kirtan from 12 to 2, and then we'll be able to take prasadam together here at the temple. So please come if you can. The process of Krishna consciousness is the process of uncovering our relationship with Krishna, because we can't have that relationship as long as we're banging around here in the material world without a purification of the heart. So the purification of the heart, that is coming as we follow the process of Krishna consciousness. So I want to go to a verse that Prabhupada speaks about, and this is chapter 3, verse number 13. And I'm not going to actually, it's Bhagavad Gita, yes. Yagnashishasina santo muchante sarvakil bashai bunjate te twagam papa ye pachat yatmakaranat. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. Even if one's a vegetarian, one is still getting reactions, because these reactions are coming constantly, and therefore we can only undo these reactions. Or we could try some kind of yoga, Stanga yoga or something, but we won't succeed because we're not qualified. So through bhakti, we can succeed by purifying our tongue through the process of taking prasadam and the process of engaging in, what does it say here? Sacrifices. Yagna shishtasino shanto. Yagna, shishta, that's sacrifice of food taken after the performance of yagna. So it's important that we understand that what it means, yagna, sacrifice. Sacrifice doesn't mean to do something that's really hard, but it means to make our life sacred. It may be really hard at times, a little hard anyway. I like this verse because it's appropriate for Christmas. The devotees of the Supreme Lord, or persons who are in Krishna consciousness, are called santas. We used to use this to justify going on Santa Claus. And they are always in love with the Lord, as is described in the Brahma Samhita, verse number 38. Premanjana churita bhakti velochanena santa sadaiva hridayeshu velokayanti. The santas, being always in a compact of love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the giver of all pleasures, or Mukunda, the giver of liberation, or Krishna, the all-attractive person, cannot accept anything without first offering it to the Supreme Person. Therefore, such persons always perform yagnas in different modes of devotional service, such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, and these performances of yagnas keep them always aloof from all kinds of contamination of sinful association in the material world. We visited a couple friends yesterday. They're semi-devotees. They're nice people. They're coming to the point of life like we are when things are getting a little difficult. And they're thinking about the fact that, they're not going to be around forever. And especially the husband, he's got this great fear of death. The whole time he's talking to me about, I'm not afraid of death. Oh, yes, you are afraid. That's why you're talking about it. He's not a very, to see him is to see a person who is like not in the mode of, very high mode. He works in a factory. He looks like he was a Marine when he was young, and he's still built like a Marine. But when he was 15 years old, he happened to wander onto the Radha Damodar bus and see Radha Damodar deities. And it stuck with him his whole life. So even now at the point where he can't believe anything in Krishna consciousness, really he sees it as sort of like Christianity, a big myth, fairy tale, but he can't get it out of his head. And he's married to a woman who's kind of a devotee. She's into a lot of New Age type stuff, but, she's a devotee. But, not in regular standing, but a devotee. They have pictures of Krishna on the wall, and they have a big dog they named Shambho, after Lord Shiva, the protector. But the point being is a little touch with Krishna has saved this man. Because he knows us, he's heard the Maha Mantra. He has, seriously, had he not wandered onto the Radha Damodar bus, heard the chanting, seen the deities, which have never left him, he would just be, completely overcome with tamas, completely. So how important it is that we come in contact with these spiritual energy, with this spiritual energy that's coming to us from the Bhagavatam, that's coming to us from the instructions of our Gurudev. And how important it is that we engage in the proper type of prayer and the sacrifice so we can give our life to our Gurudev, so that we can give our life to Prabhupada, the disciplic succession, to the Sankirtan movement. And that way, we use our life properly. You ask a person, what is the purpose of life? And they may say, I'm going to, enjoy life to the most, but I'm going to be a nice person, and I believe in Jesus, and then I'll get salvation. They may say that. Some will just say, I just want to enjoy until I drop dead. And there's nothing else. But the real purpose of human life is to understand what real life is, and that's life with Radha and Krishna, eternally in the spiritual world. And there's so many different, and as Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays, he says, I pray for any sort of entrance into Goloka Vrindavan. Gopa, Gopi, peacock, any birth. What's holding us up? What's holding us up is that we're so comfortable here in the material world. Even though we suffer, we're comfortable in the sense that's what we know. It's, it's kind of like Oh, you know, if you left the house, you could go out and enjoy the park. It's a really nice day, but I'm feeling kind of sick. I don't really want to leave the house. It's kind of comfortable here on the couch. I'll just stay here. It's too much. Maybe I might get in a car accident when I drive out to the park. So we don't have the confidence to take a few steps in the right direction. But these verses that we study each day are giving us that confidence. And these descriptions of the Lord, they're so attractive that we develop an attachment for him. Just like if we go to this verse, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Velochanena, Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Veloka Yanti, Yam Shaima Shundaram, Achintya Guna Swarupam, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shaima Shundara, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. Premanjana Charita. Prema of love, Anjana salve, tinged Charita. We cover our eyes by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hearing the Bhagavatam, engaging in the different activities of devotional service, we tune out this world of of duality and pain and suffering and anger and death, and we tune into the world of Krishna. And then we just read some of the of this commentary in this verse. The Shaima Sundar form of Krishna in his inconceivable, the Shaima form of Krishna is his inconceivable, simultaneous, personal and impersonal, self-contradictory form. True devotees see that form in their purified hearts under the influence of devotional trance. The form of Sham is not the blue color visible in the mundane world, but is the transcendental, variegated color affording eternal bliss and is not visible to the mortal eye. What color is that? On a consideration of the trance of Vyasadeva, as in the shloka Bhakti Yogena Manasi, it will be clear that the form of Sri Krishna is the full personality of Godhead and can only be visible in the heart of a true devotee, which is the only true seat in the state of trance under the influence of devotion. We want to be in the state of trance under the influence of devotion. We can have it right today if we actually chant nicely, our rounds, focus, and actually hear. We can have it right now if we actually see the deities and let the mind and all our material conceptions float away. We can have it right now if we serve our Guru in pure love, the best love we can give. I mean, I can't give any pure love. God knows what I have. But nowadays, also, the devotees see him in Vraj in their hearts, saturated with devotion, although they do not see him with their eyes. The eye of devotion is nothing but the eye of the pure, unalloyed spiritual self of the jiva. The form of Krishna is visible to that eye in proportion to its purification by the practice of devotion. We should really be eager to become purified. But yet, the fan has been unplugged, and we go, I think I'll plug it in for a moment, and I unplug it. We have to just unplug it and let the fan stop. When the devotion of the neophyte reaches the stage of bhava bhakti, the pure eye of that devotee is tinged with the salve of love by the grace of Krishna, which enables him to see Krishna face to face. The phrase "in their hearts" means Krishna is visible in proportion as their hearts are purified by the practice of devotion. By the practice of devotion. The sum and substance of this shloka is that the form of Krishna, who is Shaima Sundar, Natavar, the best dancer, Murlidhar, the holder of the flute, and Tribhanga, triple bending, is not a mental concoction, but is transcendental and is visible with the eye of the soul of the devotee under trance. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Are there any questions? Yes. Yeah. Prabhupada says that the process of bhakti is a process of purification. It is to remove the dust from the mirror of the mind. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. Hare Krishna.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalayataksham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Nandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Angani Asa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Dipan Dikayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. 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 Govindam.
Vibhavari Shesha Aloka Provesha Nidra Chadi Uta Jiva Vivavari Shesha Aloka Provesha Nidra Chadi Utho Jiva Chadi Utho Jiva Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishnaya Kriva Rama Krishnaya Kriva The singer Vamana Shimadusudana Rajendrana Shama Manasi Madhusudana Nothing of Manasi Madhusudana Rajendrana Shama Manasi Madhusudana Putanagatana Koita Vashatana Jaya Dasarati Rama Koita Vashatana Jaya Dasarati Yashoda Dulala Govinda Gopala Ganavala Purandara Lala Govinda Gopala Yashoda Dulala Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Purandara Gopi Priya Jana Radhika Ramana Bhuvana Sundara Bora Gopi Priya Jana Radhika Ramana Bhuvana Sundara Bora Ravana Takara Makana Taskara Gopi Jana Vastrahari Ravana Takara Makana Taskara Gopi Jana Vastrahari Brajarakala Gopamrindapala Chitahari Vamshidhari Kala Gopamrindapala Yogindra Vandana Srinandanandana Brajajana Bhaya Hari Yogindra Vandana Srinandanandana Vandana Shinandanandana Braja Jana Bhaya Hari Vandana Shinandanandana Navinani Dada Rupa Manohara Manubam Shivihari Rupa Manohara Yashodanandana Kamsani Sudana Nikunjara Savidasi Dana Kanshani Sudana Yashodanandana Kanshani Sudana Nikunjara Savidasi Kamsani Sudana Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana Brinda Vipina Nivasi Rasa Parayana Ananda Vardhana Premani Ketana Pula Sharayo Jakakamba Ananda Premani Ketana Ananda Vardhana Premani Ketana Pula Sharayo Jakakamba Vardhana Premani Ketana Pula Sharayo Jakakamba Gopankana Gana Chitta Vinodana Samasta Guna Gana Dhamma Samasta Guna Gana Dhamma Yamuna Jivana Kevi Parayana Manasa Chandra Chakora Jivana Keri Parayana Manasa Chandra Chakora Yamuna Jivana Keri Parayana Manasa Chandra Chakora Jivana Keri Parayana Manasa Chandra Chakora Namasudharasa Gau Krishna Yasa Rakovachana Manamora Rasa Gau Krishna Yasa Rakovachana Manamora Viva Varishesha Aloka Provesha Nidra Chari Utajiva Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda Radhe. Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda Radhe. Radha Golokananda Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Shri Shri Radha Golokananda ki jai. The night has come to an end, and the light of dawn is entering. O Jiva soul, arise and give up your sleep.
Chant the holy name of the Lord Hari, giver of liberation, enemy of demon Mura, supreme enjoyer, all attractive, and Nayagriva, the horse-headed incarnation.